Hello, it's August the 16th. This is Renew Every Morning. I'm Paul Anderson-Walsh. Welcome along again, and welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time with us. Today we're thinking about a new talk in our series, Living Grace Fully, about what we're going to call the one who came back down. And this is about, if you like, living a kind of the embodied Christ in a world that still waits. So this is what I'm going to be thinking about. There's a lovely song that some of you may be familiar with by a band called the Blind Boys of Alabama. And the song, there's a lyric in the song that says this. It says, if one of us is blind, none of us can see. And that is a really, really interesting idea, because this song is a kind of a metaphor, more than just a lyric. It's a metaphor that speaks to us about solidarity, I guess. And the question that I want us to think about today is, what does it take to love in such a way that you're willing to delay your own joy, your own arrival, if you will, for the sake of others? That's the question that's before us today, and we're going to have a look at that in Scripture. And this is not just an exclusively Christian concept. There's a Buddhist concept that sits alongside the Bodhisattva idea, which is that this is someone who has reached nirvana, but who stands at the very gate of enlightenment, but refuses to enter alone. And in our in our Christian parallel, in a mystical sense, we talk about kenosis. This is about the Christ self-emptying himself in Philippians 2, 6 and 9. So remember, what I'm going to talk about today, and what we're going to get into today, is not about self-punishment or self-erasure. It's about a love that refuses to be made whole, if you like, while others are left behind, because we can't be whole while others are left behind. One of the final things that convinced me about universal salvation was, if the scripture says that he will perfect that which concerns you, nothing could be considered to be perfect if the people I love aren't with me. That wouldn't make any sense to me at all. So now Paul has this dilemma, and this is really what I want to hone in on. Philippians 1, 23, 25. And then just listen to this, what Paul says. Let's just sit with you for a minute, because this is Paul just kind of, vibing with the Philippian church. He's writing to them, and he's being really honest. He's saying, I've got a desire to depart to be with Christ, but it's more necessary for you that I remain. That's unbelievable. Paul says, I'm torn, I want to go home, but it's more necessary that I stay. Now that's a tension. Paul longs for the kind of realization of union with Christ, the real actualization of it. But love ties him to the people that still need him, and still, of course, need to know union. And this is kenosis in real time. The apostles embodying the very pattern of Christ's descent. And there's plenty of connection to other echoes within the scripture. Moses, for example, pleads to be blotted out if Israel can't be saved. Can you imagine that? Exodus 32. Paul says the same thing. Oh, would that I could lose my own salvation. But of course he can't lose his own salvation, nor can anybody else. Jesus is choosing the cross. Imagine that. He chooses to cross over this idea of the kind of calling down of 12 legions of angels. So they're all coming to the rescue, but it's extraordinary. Now, here we have the idea of the one who came back down. And this is, I suppose, this is Christ's followers who embody this posture. So there are some characteristics, I guess, that I want to think about for what this living grace fully means, this grace in action. So this is about to descend rather than to escape. This is about to serve rather than self-protect. This is about waiting rather than rushing ahead, loving rather than retreating into safety, maybe. And there are, imagine stories that we read about missionaries who return to war zones rather than home to their own and stay in safety. You just go, what? They go back again. A friend who delays his own plans to care for a dying parent. wonderful acts of love. These are everyday moments of sitting with someone in grief and walking patiently. And this is amazing. The amount of times I can think of in my life where I've had people that have loved me enough just to wait, just to slow down and delay their own homecoming, their own getting, their own resolution, just to help me. The amount of times, although just a simple level, they got to go home, they got to go out, they got things to do, but they go, no, it's okay. This is important. I'll sit with you. And this is therefore for me about what you might call the cost and the joy. You must acknowledge the cost. It's easier to move on, of course it is. But to choose, I don't know, to choose peace for yourself, to choose ease for yourself. But the joy of waiting, the joy of holding back, for the joy set before me, Jesus said. He endured the cross, that's how it says it in Hebrews. And this joy is about seeing other people free. It's about seeing other people healed. It's about seeing other people whole. Back to the blind boys of Alabama. If one of us is in darkness, then love waits in the dark with them. That's how it is. You imagine that? So this is important for us to just think of, because there might be moments in your life, there might be situations in your life where you feel like you really want to move on, you really want to press forward. But the question just to pose to us today is, where is Christ asking us to remain? Not out of obligation, but out of love. Who cannot yet see until maybe you walk a little longer with them? What might it look like for you to come back down from your own comfort, from your own advantage, and empty yourself again, not considering equality with your fancy friends to be something to be grasped, but emptying yourself for the sake and the love of another? What about that? Because I suppose there's a posture for us if we're going to move into that kind of realm. The idea of, I'm going to have to kind of inhale deep drafts of Christ in me, and then I'm going to exhale, kind of remain through me-ness. Philippians, again, is such a key statement for us. It's really, really important. I long to go forward, but I know it's more important for me to remain. Thomas Merton said this. He said, the whole purpose of the spiritual life is to bring us back to the world with the eyes of Christ. Can you imagine that? That it's not about escaping the world, it's coming back to the world and seeing it through Christ's eyes. And with Christ's eyes and his power flowing through us, what healing agents we can be in this world. So I just want to invite you to be a sanctuary for someone else's journey this week. Just to make space, to hold space, and to listen, and to look afresh at the world, knowing, as Merton said, that the whole purpose of spiritual life is to bring us back to the world with the eyes of Christ. All right, well, may you be encouraged, may you be renewed, and look forward to speaking to you tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.